Hello and welcome to the newest installment in Paris Squared, based on modern age by Green Ronin. Glozel is real, part 7. Countdown and showdown in the cave. It is a lovely day. It's summer. And you are in Glozel, in the gulch, where there is a cave that you have found. And behind this cave is something that is simply called the portal. You've also met a young Knight Templar who's several centuries old, 600 to be precise, and he has been ousted from this cave where he has been keeping watch, and he doesn't know how. He just knows it happened a couple of months ago, maybe at the same time when this thing came through the portal in the auction house, who knows, and he can't get back in. And he has told you that something's always trying to get through the portal. They have not been able to close it, which is why they sealed the cave shut and sealed themselves in the cave. And he says being in that cave is like being in the presence of God, or that's what it feels like, this all-encompassing love, but that there is something dark about it. And that their leader said, well, the fiend would always put on his lovely face, his nice face. And of course, as you know, because you are well read, Lucifer himself was really beautiful. Lucifer was an angel. He was the bringer of light. So, and all angels are beautiful creatures.
Also, Lucifer wants to turn people on his side. So if he would be ugly, it would not help. So...
yeah, and if he was aggressive or annoying or fiendish in the best sense of the word, it probably wouldn't help either. So there is the saying that the devil eats flies. So the plan is to go in, but you're trying to find a way to open the portal. Sorry, not the portal. No.
Well, it's already open, so we can't make that.
Well, I mean, it's kind of it's more like a it's open and not open. Nobody can pass through, but you can see what's happening behind it's like a curtain that you can look through.
Okay.
Nobody can get out yet, but they're always trying.
But it might. Okay.
Yeah, but they have not been able to actually close the portal. So in order, so you want to go inside to open the mouth of the cave. So the door on the cave, let's call it a door, needs to be opened. So how do you want to do this?
Well, at the moment, we looked at from outside. Everything is still sealed, right? So no cracks, no holes. So, A, definitely waiting for the cavalry. B, using everything heavy that we have to knock out the wall. Probably first a small corner. And use, depending on what Celeste has with her, but latest at least, I don't know what a camera equipment she has, but if not, at least to be able to use the camera of the mobile phone to have a peek inside before anyone steps inside.
Oh, that's
so first a small hole, having a peek, hoping that through that hole nothing explodes or grabs or whatever, and then we can see what is inside and make a plan.
Okay.
If we see anything. So I think we would ask him for the layout. So basically asking him if behind this sealed off wall, is it directly the cave where the portal is? Or is there no, it's a long way and the portal is far behind? What would he say?
So basically what he tells you is that it is like a corridor, about, let's say, maybe 20 meters. And they have actually taken chisels to the wall and made themselves benches. because they
Okay.
knew that they were going to stay in there. Because when they sealed themselves into the cave, they also brought provisions with them and some water, because they thought that they were going to stay and be alive for some time, but knowing full well that at some point they would simply die, because they would die from starvation or thirst, or they might kill each other, not themselves, but each other, because there was no way back out.
Yep.
So it's about 20 meters, and then it's like an opening. It's almost like a square room, and then there is the portal, and the portal is definitely not natural. It's a made thing. It looks a lot like a doorway, almost rectangular in shape. So regular that nobody would think that this was made by nature. Although nature can be quite regular, but not in this case. So, and the corridor is wide enough for two people to walk abreast. So at that
Is it straight ahead or turning?
No, it's actually quite straight.
Okay.
It goes straight into the ridge. And there's also
Then-
no incline, so you would walk on an even path.
And I think while we wait, Amelie would pull out her notebook that she has with her. And she would turn to the page where she made some scribbles and notes from the, oh god, my brain, Voynich manuscript. And she would just show it to the knight. What was it, Gilbert? Was that him?
Yeah.
Okay. And would ask if he knows this science by any chance.
Let's see. He has a very good roll, 15. And he looks at it and he says, I've never seen this before. What is it?
Well, it's a manuscript, quite old, that so far nobody was able to translate.
Okay.
And it bears some similarities with other signs on some tablets that were found around here. Well, more where we first met, around there.
Tablets, okay. That's interesting. I can't say that I've ever seen anything like this before. It doesn't look like any language I've seen. It's definitely not Arabic.
It's definitely not a known language. It must be more like a cipher or code.
He's intrigued, but you also can tell...
It was worth a shot.
Yeah, you can tell that he's not lying. He's intrigued, but he really doesn't know. After a while, you hear noises, and it's a little bit of a crashing noise, and then a very loud merde gets thrown around. You can tell by the voice it must be Micheline. She may have fallen down into the gulch, just like Celeste did. So the cavalry is coming. They're not exactly quiet or clandestine, shall we say.
We will just warn him. Our friends are here. I know, not very stealthy.
So you've got Leo and Anne-Laure, your security detail. They are cool as. Micheline is... she was smart enough not to wear heels, but other than that, she looks all the girl from the 80s, desperately seeking Suzanne. Big hair, which is now full of twigs. She does look a little bit like a druid from a game that shall not be mentioned here. There is some dirt in her face.
All part of the job.
Yeah. And she's basically, and Leo is trying to give her a hand, and she's basically clinging onto him because walking is a bit difficult, because although she's not wearing heels, she's also not wearing flats either. So it's kind of like a mix. She compromised, but it's not right for this terrain. She's like, next time, I'll send Eric. Seriously, what is going on? Hello, there you are.
You think it would be in plain sight where every human walks by?
You're too young to take this tone of voice with me, mademoiselle.
Well, then, welcome, Gilbert. That's Leo and Laura, Miss Laura, Leo and Laura. Gilbert, don't be scared. He's quite old. He knows
Micheline
what
looks at him and she's like, he doesn't really look old. He just looks dead. I'm sorry. Was that offensive?
And Amelie would pull out her notebook again, and she would like draw a rough, basically plan based on what Gilbert told us. So a little bit on him benches, and there's the portal, and well, the idea is to break the seals because that's the only way inside.
But what can we find when... I mean, this is now Leo speaking, and he's talking to Gilbert. So you're saying that there is a portal and there is something behind it. This something, what is it? And Gilbert says, well, my guess? It's the devil? Micheline rolls her eyes and she says, all right, so it's the devil. All right. So behind it is Lucifer and the pit. Semtex? She asks. Because I mean, we could try and see if it's a physical portal. And shut it down like that. Just collapse the ridge.
Did you try that in the past, to just break it? Because that would be the obvious way. Break it and hope it's broken. Looking at Gilbert.
What's a semtex? He asks.
Ignore that part, but did you try to physically break it by hitting it with hammers or whatever, the portal?
How would that work? I mean, it's a doorway. Wouldn't that open the door if you take out the jams?
Or it would close it because the door crumbles in itself.
It's stone.
Okay. So it's not like a door standing free. It's in
the wall.
In the wall, okay. Let's change the drawing.
I mean, no, we didn't, because we thought we would probably pull down the whole mountain or the whole hill.
Well, I think then we just have to see and try when we are there.
Unlaw looks at you and she says, well, if we are to employ Zemtex, destroying the hill is definitely on the cards. Are we sure that this is all right with the people here?
We should try to avoid it, I suspect.
And she looks at Leo and he's like, well, there is nothing on top of the hill. I mean, no structures, nobody lives there. But of course, collapsing an entire hill is a major, major change to the environment. And I don't know how, and he looks at Micheline, you are going to explain that away.
The other option to be thought about, is there a way we can wall it off a piece and then fill up the gap between the wall and the portal with cement? I don't know, anything nobody can get through.
Well, that is definitely something that they do with atomic nuclear waste. They just put it somewhere and then they just fill everything up with concrete.
Problem, we would just leave the problem for another generation.
Some of these problems cannot really be solved.
So it might be an option. Still, should we at least, I don't know. We need to go get inside.
Well,
anyhow.
Either way, we will have to go inside, because even if we were to blow up the thing, we have to blow it up downstairs, not upstairs.
Then let's make a little hole and pray that nothing will explode in our face. And Amelie will take her pickaxe. Because we have everything with us and would start quite in the middle to start really carefully, as if she would be restoring something more or less and trying to get rid of things, to hammer a little hole where at least the camera of a phone can look through.
Yeah, okay, so basically you can do that. This is because you are being careful. I'll say it's going to take you the better part of 2 hours because the wall is quite thick.
Okay.
As you now find out, is they've actually walled it shut, really. They put down bricks and mortar in 2 layers. So basically it's a 2-layer structure. And it takes a while to get through, but it's pretty solid as well. So you feel that if you make a hole, the whole thing will not come down. You will be able to make a hole in that wall. And you come to think of it more as a wall rather than an opening.
Yeah.
And you're just tunneling through the wall.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically the first thing that you notice, because you're very close to it, is stale air escaping. And you look through. And it's, of course, as you would expect, completely dark. So you have to get a light source in. Or are you going to just look through the camera, kind of like hold your camera on against the hole you made and turn on the light on the mobile phone and just basically look at the screen?
Well, first we will try without the light, because the light will not reach till the portal. No light.
No.
So she would look at Gilbert. So you sat there in pitch black the whole time?
Well, I guess when you turn into a ghost, that doesn't really matter. I mean, I've been there for, as you tell me, hundreds of years, but I was alone, but I didn't even notice time passing.
Well, Amelie would use the phone and would go into settings and would try to get the ISO value quite up, take a picture, and then try to enhance and contrast, as just play around a little and see.
What is the ISO? What was that? The ISO?
If the ISO goes higher, you can make pictures. The darker it gets, they get grainy, but you can see quite a bit.
Okay, so basically you do that, and
if it's pitch black, it's pitch black. Then no way. But
well,
she'll at least try.
It's not totally pitch black because there is light coming in through that. I mean, I guess you will have to make a hole about this size. If it's just then...
Yeah. So. No, it would be this size, but it will not shed light far off. It would be somewhere maybe in the hallway, basically.
Yeah, so basically...
But not going far.
The hallway looks like he has described it. You can see the walls. This is now definitely a cave, and it's natural, so it's rough edges, but you can also see, I mean, even the benches are rough. I mean, this wouldn't have been a pleasant stay. You can see skeletons, obviously, the knights.
Now that we have, now that I think of it, with the hole, she would look at Gilbert. Are you not able to go inside?
Is he able to go inside?
It's the question if he can walk through the wall now that he sees the other side and the seal is broken.
He looks at it, and he looks through the hole that you made, and he puts his palms against the wall, and he does pass through. And then his face appears on the other side, and he's like, "How did you do that?"
Well, the seal is broken, which is probably not a good idea, but it is. I guess the seal kept everything.
He steps outside again.
Outside.
Now I can pass through. I wonder how I managed to get out the first time, though, because I wasn't even trying. I found myself out here.
I still think someone or something kicked you out.
Why?
Sure. Do you have the chance that if you put through the hole, can you? She would just hand out a pen. Can you hold this?
He takes the pen in his hand and he passes through, and the pen goes with him.
Would you mind taking? She will take her flashlight, the biggest one she has, just like, and maybe take a walk in and just show us how it looks, that we can take a quick video.
He takes the flashlight in both his hands and he looks at it and he's like, how does this work?
There's a button to push. See the button?
Mm-hmm.
You just have to push it once.
He pushes it very lightly. Nothing happens because it's one of those heavy... It doesn't work.
Use all the force... Well, kind of the force you have.
He presses down. The light comes out. Portable light. Yes. And without a flame.
Mm-hmm.
Smashing.
Well, you can smash people with what you have in your hand in case they come towards you.
He walks through the wall again and...
Amelie would put her phone and still eyes are quite up, because then at least you can see a little bit, and then she would hit record.
So what do you want me to do? You hear him from inside.
Just go down towards the portal that we can see the way there.
He keeps going, but after it's a long... So basically he as he is facing away from you, and so is the light. After a while, where he used to stand, it's now dark again, and you see the light in the distance.
You see a little bit light in the distance, yeah.
Yeah.
Does the portal still look the same, or has anything changed?
Wait a minute. It comes from the inside, and it's quiet. And he looks. Obviously, you don't know because you can't see anything. Okay. Comes back and he says, I'm not sure. It feels different. I can't say that it looks different, but it feels different. I think the portal is angry at the world.
Angry at the world. Well, then make it more angry by more visitors. And I think Amelie, at least, she would look to the others. I guess we make a doorway for us, huh?
The two... how many pickaxes did you bring? Did you bring just the one, or did you bring more than one? Probably two.
We have at least two, so each one of us has one.
Okay, so basically, Anne-Laure takes one of the pickaxes. Leo looks at you very
I will hand it
expectantly.
over to him. Please still be careful not to bring everything down. But you don't have to be as careful as I was.
The two of them nod, and then they hammer away. Micheline is sitting, has sat down in the meantime. Just like, this is weird, isn't it? I mean, seriously.
Well, I'm quite impressed that the seal worked. It's pretty hard. So please don't break the seals. They might be nice to have later for a museum.
She looks at you and she says, well, just between the three of us, the seals didn't do anything. They are Christian. It doesn't work like this. And of course, that's not Lucifer. That's a different plane, but don't tell him.
But what held them? And how did Gilbert get kicked out and was not able to pass back inside?
That I can't. The last one I can't answer, but I assume that there is some natural kana here. I can definitely feel something. So it could be that someone else, Jaina, tried to stem the tide. What's to say that one of those Templars wasn't a Jaina? I mean, didn't you say that one of them lived for several hundred years?
Yes.
So it could well be that he sealed it somehow using...
He was not there. He only got letters from his team that they found it. They sealed it.
Well, maybe there was somebody else there with powers, because those seals, and she points to the 4 evangelists, do nothing.
Yeah. Also, in between, Amelie would run to the gap that is slowly growing. Sorry, Tudu, we are breaking through, Gilbert. Not sure if you want to stay inside or wait outside with us. Feel free, whichever way you feel more comfortable with.
He comes outside and he sits down. He says, "I like the sun on my face."
She will carefully take the flashlight. Oh no, she will motion to him, just, if you mind switching off the flashlight, just to save the energy.
Oh, of course. He clicks.
He
clicks it off.
Sadly, not endless energy. It would be nice to have that one
Although
day.
it looks like a sun, you know, when you carry your own little private sun.
That's it.
And so the 2 of them finally make a hole that is big enough for somebody to... I mean, only one person at a time can go through. They didn't open the whole wall.
Yeah.
And then they say, "We will go first, just in case."
Okay.
And they take out their weapons and they pass through.
Mm-hmm.
And it's silent for a moment, a couple of minutes, and then they come back and they say, "Step outside. We've seen the portal. There is definitely something moving behind it, but we couldn't really see what it was. But the actual area in front of it is completely empty. We couldn't see anything."
Then let's have a peek.
Mm-hmm. So
And
you go
Amelie
inside.
will take the flashlight from Gilbert and will switch it on and walk through and grabs Celeste's hand for her to follow.
Okay, so the 2 of you go inside. Micheline follows. Gilbert brings up the rear. He comes last. And Leo and Anne-Laure go first.
At least Amelie would carefully look at basically every inch also.
The mega...
On the wall, also the skeletons. When she sees them, or while we waited, she probably would have asked if Gilbert would want to share the names of his companions. Just for
He
the
has
history
shared the
books.
names if you've asked
Okay.
this.
Yeah.
You can roll. You can give me a seeing roll, so that's perception.
Then let's see. That is a 9 plus 3. It's a 12.
9 plus 4. You have perception 2 and seeing is plus 2 because you have
I
a
don't have
focus.
seeing.
Oh, sorry, I looked at the wrong person.
I don't have seeing. I have searching, but not seeing.
Sorry, yeah, I mistook you for Celeste. Okay, so it's 12.
Yep.
Yeah, but 12. Okay.
12.
Yeah, and she doesn't see anything. Yeah. Well, these are skeletons. They look in pretty good order. They also have their weapons beside them, and you can still see the metal parts of their of what they were wearing, of their uniforms, and their armor. But everything that was, but even no. Actually, I lie, because it would have been very dry and warm in there. So even the fabrics would have kept. And you see like the tabard with the port cross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Means that they need a proper burial after this.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to find a way, Gilbert, if we get this solved, that you can maybe rest finally.
Mm-hmm.
But that's for later.
So you follow the 2.
Yeah,
Okay.
just moving forward, getting closer to the portal and having a peek.
Okay, so it's more than a peak because the portal is actually quite massive.
Mm-hmm.
It's easily 2.5 meters tall and about 1 meter and 50 wide. It's more like a gateway in the wall. And it's as if there was yellowish mist moving. And behind it you can see movement. There is a big mass shifting. You can't hear anything. It's actually deathly silent.
Okay, so no static noises. Okay.
But you can make a communication check.
Also, before I do communication check, Amelie will be filming a little bit. Not much, because it's not a whole movie, but a little bit, just to have something there. 2 dice are okayish. 1 is always rolling a 1. That is again a 9, so an 11.
Okay. You needed a 10. The kana is overwhelming.
Okay, so even I can feel it.
Yes. You can feel it all right. I mean, it's just that you sometimes pretend you can't feel it. You
Well,
always.
sometimes I don't feel it.
Sometimes you don't, yes, but it's overwhelming even for you. And Celeste is she's having a physical reaction. She's getting goosebumps that you can actually see. And Micheline is also reacting, but Micheline is full Jane, so for her it's like, yeah, I noticed this. It's a little bit like a musician who's got pitch perfect hearing. Hearing that something is out of tune, ever so slightly, and you notice it, but you just let it slide. So for her it's obvious. And she just says, all right then. That's a strong one.
Amelie would look at basically the corner of the portal, so the stone part that we can see. Are there any signs or symbols, or does it look like someone really also buried like really a hole for the portal, or basically just behind the portal it looks like basically there's wall again?
Behind the portal.
Yeah, so you said the portal is in the wall, right? Yeah. So it's a question if behind the portal we can't look through, if it might be like a cave.
Make a perception check.
So just curious, and basically also looking for any kind of signs or marks or anything. Holy hell! With a 4 on the dice, stunt die 1. 5. Whatever put on top, no. I don't see anything.
You honestly can't make anything out because you're staring at this mist. And then you notice that what you thought might be the wall on the other side of the portal is actually a huge being because it shifts. And whatever that thing is, there can't be a wall straight behind the portal because that mass is probably around... It's taller than the portal is high, so basically the portal, there must be something, an up beyond the portal, and there must be an in behind the portal because this thing is huge.
Okay.
You're looking at something that's easily probably around 4 meters tall, at least, maybe 8 to 10 meters long, and easily 2 meters wide. It's a huge, huge mass, and it looks very organic, so it's rounded contours.
Amelie will look at Celeste and the others, and Micheline and the others. So, any ideas?
Well, I guess I know what this is, and I can tell you don't want to meet it. It's a formori.
What? Do I even want to know what that is?
Well, formori are monsters, essentially. You would probably call them monsters. They are... People employ them. Well, they are employed basically to hack and slash. They're like a one-man army. They're also not very... They don't really have an agenda. You just tell them to go kill. Somebody is trying to make an into this world, using this formori to just come in and kill whatever is inside.
But probably the Fomori is not the brain behind the operation.
Some say they don't have brains. I beg to differ. I do believe that they do have brains, but they are not intelligent. I mean, they are more like giant bears
Okay. So they
that
know
are
how to-
trying to feed for hibernation, if you get my drift.
Yep. So, Micheline, anything in the books of the past how to close this? I hope over the last centuries we learned a little bit more than Gilbert and his friends had at hand.
Give me 5 more Jaina and we could close this down probably. But I'm alone. I mean,
Well,
you two
You're
don't
right.
count, I'm afraid.
what? I thought we are, Jaina.
You are part Jaina. But we can try. Give me your hands.
Before we do that, let me try something. Just
Okay.
curiously. You can kick me if that leads to opening the portal.
I advise you to be cautious because you don't want this to come into this world. I'm just saying.
Curious if it reacts to anything we do on our side. If they can see us roughly as they do.
Try.
As we do them. So Amelie would at least... She would not touch the portal, but she would stand right in the middle in front of it. And she would use her phone and she would put in something... Music. Full blown.
What are you playing?
Maybe Ash's music. Because she would have Ash on her phone, just by curiosity. Because she wants something a little bit more energy-wise. So it would be one of Ash's top hits. Through mobile phone, so the quality is not the best. But I think in the cave at least, it's probably like echoing quite a bit. And Amelie would also look up, not at, if it starts crumbling, she would immediately his pause again.
So you play one of the more vigorous and energetic songs, and all of, or most of the songs by Les Enterres Vivants featuring Ash are energetic songs, but this one is especially energetic, and it reverberates in this cathedral-like cave. Nothing
just curious
is crumbling, so you're safe there.
That's good. She's just curious if whatever is on the other side.
Then
if
give me a
it-
communication check.
the behavior changes, or like like a sudden turnaround, or so like, what is this? Something like that. She's just curious. Double 6, not on the stunt die sadly, but that is a 15.
Okay. So, and what's your stunt die? What does it say on the stunt die?
A 1.
Okay. So it's 15 plus 1 on the stunt die. Okay.
No.
So that's a really good
Yeah,
roll anyway.
15.
That's a really good roll.
Yeah, 15 plus 1 on the stunt die. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
just kind of.
So which means
I just want to see if the other side hears the music and reacts.
the other side definitely
Any kind
hears
of-
the music.
Okay.
There is,
So
because
there's
it stops
some kind
moving.
of- Okay, interesting. I will turn
It's
off the
now
music.
aware of you.
I will turn off the music. So sudden silence in the cave.
It's staying still for a little while longer, and then it starts moving again.
So
Maybe it was
definitely-
listening for a while as well. Why is the sound gone? And now it's shifting again, but...
Do you think on the other side they are able to close the portal if they think it's dangerous on our side? Looking over to probably Micheline because she's the most knowledgeable.
I'll put it this way. It's an effort for them to keep it open in the first place, because there are no portals to Prime. To have one, means somebody is keeping it open. And that's an effort. So yes, if they stop making the effort, the portal will shut down. Mind you, there are only very few entities who can open portals in the first place, and keeping them open is even more difficult.
What if we send them over sounds that sound like a full army is standing here and preparing to go through?
That would be a genius idea.
So then let's step away from the portal and let's make some recordings. Thank goodness for smartphone technology.
All right. Micheline turns to Anne-Laure and Leo, and she says, "The two of you stay here. If something tries to come through, Sam takes it to hell."
Well, in between we will need your help. After we planned everything out, we will need your voices as well. We need to
That's fine.
get different.
But the door is now open.
Yeah.
So somebody should stay here to watch. And
Celeste, Amelie doesn't want to leave the cave. She just wants to go away from directly to the portal, more to where the benches are, basically.
Okay. So I go to where the benches are. What do you want to do? So explain this to me now.
I think Amelie is now scribbling down in her notebook sentences that would be like orders you would hear when an army is preparing.
Okay.
So sentences like, bring that blaster there, and you 80 go there, and we prepared this, and do you have the lasers ready, sir? And things like that.
I get
and
it.
She would ask Celeste and basically Michelin as well too. Or I could imagine that our two security guys might have ideas what they would hear, because they probably had military training. And the idea is to record it also by different people and play it, and then really full blown and see if they can get it.
I think this is such a perfect idea. So this means you're going to spend some time on this.
Yeah.
So we're going to make 3 communication roles each. It's a protracted role. Each role is half an hour.
Okay.
So, and you have to beat 12 each time. Otherwise, it's half an hour more. Okay? So let's do the first one. She rolls a 9 plus, let's look at the right one, 11. So the first half hour finishes and nothing happens.
An 11. Yeah.
Okay, so next half hour. That's a 13 off the bat. That's 15 for her, and a 1 on a 6 on the stunt die.
For me, it's just 9 in total.
Okay, so it's now an hour in, and you have 1/3 of the recording.
Let's switch the die.
Oh God,
I don't like that. That is much better. That is a 13 at least on my side this time.
Okay, so you get it 2 from her stunt die, so it's a 15. So it's the and now 11, 13, 15.
I have a 12.
Okay, so between the two of you, you managed to complete this in 2 hours. After, between the 5 of you, essentially. Gilbert is also happy to lend his voice to shouting orders, and then he comes up with the idea of actually marching. So you record them marching in lockstep.
Stomping, that's good, yes.
And of course, the whole place it reverberates with them marching, and you record this. You can amplify this, and after about 2 hours, you have enough to sit down and compose, as it were, an opera of army assembly and training and military stuff. So you do this, and after another hour, you are good to go.
Okay, Then one thing we should maybe try as well, next to the sound, we should all stand next to each other, all with flashlights facing the portal. If light goes through, which I suspect at least in some parts does, similar as we can see them, they might see shadows from us. Lights might also be like a little bit more intimidating.
And Celeste suggests, because everyone has at least one light source, you have 2 flashlights, you have Micheline has a mobile phone, so do the 2 soldiers, so do you, so do Celeste. So basically, you have 7 lights for 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 people. So each one gets one, and then there's one that you place at the very back, and that's one of the flashlights, which is brighter than the other lights.
Yeah.
So basically, it looks like there is other people
In the back.
shining their lights to the front from back there, because the further you go back, the darker the whole thing becomes.
Also, I'm quite sure that Leon and Laura have a light, definitely.
Yeah, they do. They have one on there.
Yeah, that they can.
Yeah.
And then, using the phone, full blown.
And then basically now you make a communication roll, the 2 of you, each one, but you get a plus 3 to it, each one of you. Okay, yeah, she definitely needs a 6, 8, 11. She gets a 13.
How much do we get on top?
Plus 3.
Yeah, I have a 10, so 13.
Okay, so she has... Okay, then it goes through.
It was not a good roll, yeah.
Hers wasn't a good roll either, but because of the preparation and the plus, which the plus 3 represents, the whole... It seems like the foundations of this cave are shaking, because it is so loud. It reverberates. You have also amplified it by actually sending the sound file to everybody else. And then they're placing their mobile phones at different places in the cave, and you start playing this thing, and it really reverberates, and it is extremely loud. And now give me a perception check. Looking at the wall, at the portal.
Do I need to take other... I have other dice. Behave. They like 1s and 2s a lot. I'm not sure I like this. Perception, you said? That is... an 11.
Okay.
And we will get different ones to join the party.
You do notice something. You have a feeling that it gets a little bit brighter on the other side. That there suddenly is more light.
Do we also see other movement than the one big one?
No, but the one big one becomes smaller. It seems to be retracting.
Okay. Amelie would keep the sound going. Just because she suspects that the non-brain is now maybe informing the brain that something is happening on our side.
Okay. After a while, the non-brain seems to have removed itself completely, because you can't see anything except the mist. And it's bright. So maybe it was standing in front of a light source, and now it's moved, so... Okay. How long do you want to wait?
Well, we would be able to keep it on loop, although it would be quite a sequence, so not that like every half minute it's the same, because they would see it. And I think at least Amberly would like to at least wait for at least an hour.
Okay. An hour passes, there is no change. Celeste says, maybe we should back this up with some firepower.
You want to shoot at the portal?
Just to say that we mean business.
What if we open it by that?
Something tells me, I mean, I doubt it, because if it was so easily opened from this side...
Yeah, that's true. Guys, looking at our two security persons.
They take out their, they have Glock sidearms and submachine guns. They decide against the submachine gun. They take out their Glocks and they aim at the portal and they say, tell us to fire. Whenever.
Looking over to Micheline, just to make sure that she's not getting a heart attack by this idea.
No, she's cool.
Okay, then.
And she says, may I?
Yeah, sure.
Fire at will. The two look at each other, they kind of roll their eyes just a tad, and then they just shoot once each. And
What
it's
does the
loud.
portal do with the shots?
Interestingly enough, the shots seem to go through. They don't bounce back. There is no ricocheting off the portal.
So they just vanish?
Or
in the
they
portal?
vanish. You don't know if they
Okay.
go through and are physically on the other side, or if they basically get dissolved, but they don't bounce back.
Yeah.
Which is always an option. So basically the two guys would have asked you to stand way back just in case there's ricocheting.
Once more, please.
They do it one more time.
Looking at the portal and see if anything happens for at
Give
least
me a
like
perception
15
check.
minutes. So, let's try the other dice. It's better. It's still 1-1 on the... Why? But hey, it's a 14 on perception.
Oh wow, that's a really good roll. You have a feeling that there is movement, but it's a lot smaller.
Well,
So there is
obviously,
something
the
moving, but
brain
whatever it is very small.
usually small.
Maybe it's the brain.
Maybe shoot again, guys.
They shoot again. And let's see. Yeah, the communication gets through. They do understand that you mean business. You see a flickering. And the mist gets darker and darker and darker and finally vanishes. And where there was a doorway, there is now just a solid wall.
I think they don't like us very much.
Micheline stands in front of the wall and she puts her hand against it and she says, I'm just wondering if they can open one again.
Well, the question is if we have time to build something here that either the portal would just not be able to manifest because it's, I don't know, metal, titanium, I have no idea. If there's something where a portal cannot appear in.
Celeste has been very quiet through all of this and she says, what I've always been wondering is if they can open a portal like this and someone managed to seal it on our end so that nothing could go through, why didn't they close it and open it somewhere else? Because they can close it, so now it's gone. And Micheline says, that's a good point.
Do they need someone to open something here or mark on our side?
Or maybe this is a special place, because after all, I mean, think of the tablets. This place has been special. for millennia. So maybe there is something here that makes this kind of like an attractive spot. Maybe it's conducive to opening a portal, especially if Micheline says that there are no portals on Prime. So maybe this was the one place where they could open one and keep it open, and they were just hoping that at some point the resistance on our end would collapse and they would be able to push through.
Do we still have tingly feeling now that the portal is gone?
There is tingly feeling, but it's kind of like more like a backdrop noise.
Okay.
But you do feel that there is something going on. Maybe it's this place. And Micheline says, that's a very good idea and a very good explanation. The question is, what do we do now? Because, I mean, we cannot just, or after all, nuke this place.
Well, as I said, it's a question if we fill it up completely, then at least the idea of a portal just showing up in the middle of a big pile of cement, it doesn't sound that inviting.
Also, they wouldn't be able to pass through it.
Well, it would take them a lot of time, and I don't know if you have the means to have kind of surveillance set up here, that if something happens, we see it.
We shall declare a natural disaster. Something that means we need to fill in these caves in order to prevent the ridge from collapsing. We will think something up. We will fill them with cement, and we will establish a listening post.
That sounds like a good idea, or probably it's even enough if you have like basically how you measure earthquakes, because if they want to break through what we then set up, it would shake the earth.
That is a very astute. I do understand why they recruited you. I still don't get why you
like looking over to Celeste like,
I still don't get why you refuse to use the vault, though. All right. So,
I don't need a vault. I have nothing to put there. All my things are my belongings and are at my home.
I will return to Paris. The two of you, Leo and Anne-Laure, stay here just in case something happens. And I shall make arrangements. And the two of you should write that report for Eric.
We looking at Leo and Anne-Laure. We'll come back with food and water.
Thank you very much, the two of them say.
Do you need anything else? Amelie is like writing a shopping list on what to bring them.
They touch their backpacks and they say, we've got a tent. So we've got bedrolls and stuff. So we will be fine. But food
water.
and we have enough food and rations for 48 hours. But it's field rations. I would actually prefer a croissant.
And a nice baguette and some fresh water. Okay.
Could you make that some Coke?
Sure.
He smiles.
Amelie would go with her pick towards the wall where the portal was, and she would break out a piece of stone.
Okay, you can do that, no problem.
Maybe someone can analyze this and see if there's anything special in the stone.
Why don't you just add it to your report?
We will.
Good. You did well.
Then Amelie will turn around and have a look for Gilbert. Is he still there?
Nowhere to be found.
I think his deed is done. Could we make sure that they get a proper burial? Please.
Celeste says, well, I think we have to report this anyway. This is an archaeological find.
I'm not sure it will be a public archaeological find.
You're right. Micheline says, well, we will be able to. I mean, they were Knights Templar, you say, so they should get a Catholic burial.
Yes.
I don't know what the Catholic Church says about them these days. We will just say that they were crusaders, because in a way they were on a crusade, and we found them, and we will make sure that they get buried.
Okay.
In Holy Mother Church's earth.
Thank you.
All right. And she says, well then, how do I get back to the car?
Just looking at the other two, where did you park? On the official parking place?
Yes.
Then just follow us.
Micheline follows you. Oh, double 6 and a 5 and a 6 on the stunt die. Climbing up is easier for her. Let's see how our dear Celeste does. Oh, 11, 12, 13, she's fine.
Is it Dex? I have a 15.
Oh, okay, so the two of you, Micheline and you, are doing really, really well. It's going perfectly. And Celeste is doing reasonably well, so no problems there. And you climb the ridge, get to the top, you go to the cars, you have your car, she has her car. She basically then says, okay, I'm going to drive the car to the local airport, well, where our chopper is, and I will fly back to Paris. I'll see you then. Bye.
Thank you. How
bientôt.
late is it?
Well, now it's reasonably late. I would say it's about 7 or so in the evening.
Well, then we should be quick to get them some fresh food and drinks. So we will jump in the car. We will go search on the phone for the next, which is probably Glozel itself, to have like at least some baguette, some croissant, some Coke.
Yeah. And something to put on them, cheese.
Yeah, and then driving back. And well, at least we have light. So carefully stumbling through darkness probably by then.
Yeah. And the two of them
it's summertime, so it's not dark.
No, it is going to be light until about 10 o'clock.
But at least it's sun is probably already going down, and it's just looking at Celeste. Do we go together or just looking at going down?
She takes her part of the stuff.
Says the one that will stumble face down first.
She has a 14.
Okay,
on her
I
dex.
rolled a 10. Oh, it's not a full catastrophe.
Okay,
but
no,
I only rolled a 10.
You manage. But she's a little bit more nimble this time round, probably just to prove to you that she can do it.
Yep.
And the two of you arrive at the cave, and Anne-Laure and Leon have actually set up their little bedrolls and have sat down and are basically looking at the wall every so often, and it's like they're surveying the space around them. And they've set up lights so that it's now really brightly lit. So they've got little lights on tripods that are really, really bright. So nobody could hide in a nook or cranny. Not that there are any nook or crannies, but if there were, nobody would be able to hide in that because it's all very well illuminated. You give them the food. They're very happy. They enjoy this, you can tell. And well, then you take your leave and you go back to your hotel.
Yeah, we will return to the chateau and we'll see if we can still grab something from the kitchen since we're late. Maybe calling as soon as we leave, and see if they're still there. If they at least could give us like a little.
Marie
some
answers the phone and
whatever's
says,
possible.
"Oh, it's fine. I will just put it into the fridge, and when you come in, you can just put it into the microwave."
Thank you so much.
So basically you arrive, it's again, it's soup, it's a main course, it's another main course. I mean, there's plenty of food, you just microwave your way through it and you enjoy a really good dinner. by the time you get there, it is already quiet in the dining room because there are people already sitting or still sitting outside on the
I think
terrace.
we would take our food outside as well, would be the idea, just to...
And basically, yeah, people tell you what they have been doing. They want to know what you've been up to. So what have you been up to?
We just had a walk around the basically the place where all the ghosts supposed to be. We haven't seen a single
Champ de
ghost,
Mort.
I have to
And did
say.
you see any ghosts?
No.
No. Well, it was broad
some-
daylight, wasn't it?
Yeah, some bunnies, some squirrels, crows, but nothing really. It's still beautiful there.
It is, but very hot on a day like this, so without the trees and everything. Yeah, and then after a while, everybody goes to bed. So you go to bed.
I'm quite sure we will just faceplant into bed, being just tired after all this.
Okay. Make a communication check.
No.
Yes.
Which one of you traitors do I take? I shouldn't call them like that. That is a 9 on communication.
You wake up because somebody, well, Celeste touches you on the arm. Wake up.
What?
Someone was here. Look.
What?
And she holds up a piece of parchment.
Oh God. Amelie will rub her eyes and will be just like, what parchment? What? But we locked the door.
Yes, and portals aren't real, so here we are. Read it.
You read it.
Yeah, well, I've already read it, so I'm going to read it to you. Until next time.
Amelie will just throw herself into bed again and be like, fuck off, whoever you are.
I'm not sure they're still here to hear us, but
It still makes me feel better.
well then. Do you want me to throw it out or do you want to put it into our report?
In the report.
She takes out a plastic document map. She puts it in, pats it down so that and smooths it out, and then she puts it into a little folder that she has started to prepare. She's now decided to go old school with you so that everything is in writing. She's not going to commit anything to her computer. Then she switches off the light again, snuggles into her bed, yawns one more time, and you hope that she goes to sleep. Do you go to sleep?
Yes. At least I will try.
Okay. Yeah, you are tired. So you fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And the next... did you set an alarm clock?
No.
Okay.
I'm not sure if Celeste did, but Amelie for sure did not.
No, she didn't. So it's about 10:30 by the time you wake up. It's late in the morning. The sun is streaming in. The birds are warbling outside. You can hear the one of the dogs that they have on loan from their neighbors is barking.
Mm-hmm.
So you wake up and you can hear kids laughing. And they are obviously running through the garden towards the piscine. They are going to go they're going to go to the pool. So Celeste looks at me and says, how about we just take today as a holiday and then we return to Paris tomorrow?
Yes. And then tomorrow, or when we're back home, we can write the report in peace and quiet.
Mm-hmm. Then she says, last one at the dinner table and last one at the breakfast table has to pay for lunch. And she starts running out the room.
Amelie will stretch, will collect herself in peace and quiet, and will slowly walk after Celeste.
Celeste is sitting at the breakfast table. The breakfast table is laid. She says, well, I guess you're paying for lunch then.
I will happily do that.
And you can see that all the things you like are there. And the two of you have a lovely breakfast. And then she says, well, Actually, I would like to also go to the pool today.
Then let's have a pool day.
So the two of you go to the pool. She brings a book as well, but she does swim. The kids are basically, they have been swimming, you can tell, because they've got wet hair, but now they're kind of exhausted a little bit. So they're actually being very reasonable because they're just sitting there. They've dried themselves off, changed into different sets of clothing so that they don't cool, and are playing a game, a board game, and are being reasonably quiet. So Celeste jumps in, she swims a couple of laps, and then she basically just lies down by the pool in one of those deck chairs.
I think Amelie is... she has a book with her to read, but she will have... I think she will draw. She will be in her notebook, and she will draw a few things from memory, or maybe in between just open up the phone to look at pictures. And we'll sketch a few things for her personal notes.
After a while, Celeste's mobile beeps. She picks it up, she looks at it, and she says, "Oh, it's a text from Micheline. They're going to fill in the they're going to remove the bones tonight, and they're going to fill in the place with concrete tomorrow."
Good.
They act really quickly.
I am surprised and not surprised at the same time.
How?
They must know people to be able to do this quickly.
But then why the surprise? I get the not surprise.
Because I still can't really believe this is a thing.
All right, you are a doubting Thomas.
Yes.
Why? I mean, you've seen so much.
It still does it's colliding a lot with my logical sense of this is how the world is that I grew up with for the last 23 years.
Yeah, I guess I've got an advantage on you because I've always known that there is something out there.
Well, I've kind of thought about spaceships and aliens being out there. Yes, not this.
Well, in a way, it depends on how you define alien, because this is definitely, if you mean by alien not from this world, what you saw last night was an alien.
Yeah, it's still, my idea is like, Star Trek thingy. There are
they
ships.
exist too.
That wouldn't shock me as much as there are magical people and portals and thingies and parallel worlds. It's that is a bigger step.
She looks at you, well, you would be considered one of those magical people.
Also, that still feels very off.
She says, I'm going to get some iced tea. Would you like some as well?
Yes, that would be lovely.
And she goes away and she comes back with iced tea in long glasses and a carafe as well. And the two of you have a lovely late morning, early afternoon. At some point you have lunch. And there's dinner. You decide to check out. You tell Marie, and you have to check for trains because you're taking a train from Vichy to Paris because you rented a car in Vichy. You can do this. And you will be arriving in Paris at around 1 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow.
Okay. I will send a note to Amelie, will say her family, although it's chosen family, just to let them know that she will be back in the afternoon. Early evening.
Do you think that they would pick you up? Would you ask them to pick you up at the airport? I was going to say at the train station, or will you just make your way?
They would offer to pick me up, and I would say no worries. I have everything organized, which she hasn't, but hey.
Yeah. So you arrive in Paris.
Yeah.
And Celeste and you part ways at the station. She goes home to her place, you go home to your place.
I think we would agree on meeting up the next day, probably in the library, to sit. Or it is a question: do we rather want to sit together in a cafe to write a report? That sounds much nicer than sitting in a library.
Yes, because there we can have food and drink. You're not
Yep.
allowed to drink or eat in the library.
So we will choose a cafe that we know that has like a little bit private corners.
Yeah.
And that would be then for the next day to meet up and work on writing together what we've seen, what we learned.
And basically you arrive home.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ring the bell or do you just let yourself in?
I have a key. I will let myself in.
Okay, let's see.
Oh god,
High
I'm
or
being
low?
attacked by cats.
High or low?
Hi.
Okay. Yes. Only one cat approaches. Of course, it's Toulouse. Toulouse checks you out. He realizes that you've been gone for a very long time. A couple of days, but that's a very long time. And he just gives you the silent treatment. He looks at you. He cocks his head, turns around, and walks away slowly.
Amelie will be just after him, like saying, like, and hello to you too, sweetheart.
He ignores you and keeps going. Will you try to bribe him with schnecks?
No. First of all, I will carry everything upstairs. I will clean out the suitcase. Put dirty laundry where it belongs. Just put everything away. I will leave my door open, so in case someone is curious to come inside, they can. And at least she suspects that since nobody is there, that either they're working or somewhere around, because it's in the afternoon. So it might be. And
Someone is. You see a little snout, followed by a head. Toulouse. He pretends like everything's fine, you've not been gone. He comes to you, he rubs against your legs, flops over, and looks at you expectantly.
he will get scritches and the promise that we will go down in a minute and there will be a snack.
If he could, he would smile. But he does the purring thing.
So then she will just finish her 1-2 things that you wanted to do. Then she will carefully grab Toulouse and will carry him downstairs towards the kitchen. Where the box with snacks for kitties is standing. And she will open it. She will get out a few snacks and Toulouse will have some snackage.
That's the best thing ever. Snackage. We love snackage, so he eats his snacks. But, of course, you move the bag with the snacks. Other ears have been hearing this. You are surrounded by kittens. By kitties. They all expect a snack. They purr, they meow, they rub against you.
I am sure you all got food already, guys, but well.
Actually, they tell you that they have never been fed in their lives.
Yeah. They're all starving.
Clearly. I mean, seriously, they are so weak with starvation, they can hardly keep on their feet.
Well, they will all get a little snack. She will put away the box quite loud and clearly. We'll close the door because the snacks are behind the door, just because curious smart cats. And then she will be like, but now let me have something to eat as well. Come on. Shoo.
They are very well brought up, so basically they don't get on the counter to try to eat your food, but as you are eating, eyes follow every piece of morsel of food that you put into your mouth, and every time there is kind of like this hopeful Puss in Boots look. Will she drop it?
She will not.
Heartbroken kittens looking around, kind of going, okay, this sucks. But Toulouse, obviously, now that you've finished, finds a nice place on your lap, curls up, and wants scritches. 5 days worth of stretches.
Oh god, I will be stuck here. I need to text Celeste that I can't meet her tomorrow. I'm stuck in the seat with the cat on my lap. No, she will not. But she will just, because there's nothing much planned, so she will just enjoy being safe back at home, where she knows everything and everyone.
After a
And
while,
will enjoy the calmness of a cat purring in her lap.
after a while, you hear the door. And Nicolas arrives. Ah! You're here.
Hi.
How are things?
Good.
How was
Train
your
ride
trip?
It was really nice. It was nice to get out at the countryside for a little bit.
I can
Even had
imagine.
a slight sunburn. She will show him, quite sure, probably a slight sunburn from at least a pool day yesterday.
He picks up one of the cats and basically then starts giving the cat scratches.
Don't give them snacks. They all got some. Even though they will tell you not to, I gave all of them a snack like maybe an hour ago.
Okay, good. Thanks for telling me, because I was just going to go and give them a snack. Because they do look a little bit undernourished.
Yeah, they're all telling you I'm lying. I know that.
Are you lying to me?
No, I'm not.
Guys? Sorry about that now, but those eyes wouldn't lie to me. And then he says, well, I have a couple of things. Is he actually still studying, or is he working full-time for his aunt?
That's a good question. I never really defined that, did I? Let me see. I don't think he would be studying. I think he would be working a second job.
Okay. What kind of a job would that be? Would it be something where he has to do stuff at home, or would it be something where he does the stuff somewhere else and then comes home?
Where he does the stuff somewhere else.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna go and have a shower, and then I'm just gonna, I don't know, listen to some music.
I listened to
I'm a
Ash a little
tired.
bit during the vacation. I'm slowly growing to the music. It's quite impressive.
And remember how she said we were going to get tickets? She sent us the tickets, so we now know when. You're not coming. And he smiles at you.
Well, I can ask her if I can get my own tickets.
He looks mortified. I was going with the boys.
Yes. I'm not stealing your ticket. You don't have to worry.
I don't want you there. When I'm out there with the boys, I won't have time for you.
I can just be there by myself.
You know what Aunt Isabel will say? If I'm going to the same concert that you're going, I will have to be there to chaperone you.
Yeah, at the same time, she will have the idea that one of your friends is probably good mate for me. No, we would just go separate ways.
All right, good. But maybe we can just keep it on the quiet, and you just go in one direction, I go in another direction. She doesn't have to know that we're going to the same concert.
Might be an option too. I will first of all need to see if Celeste is wanting to go anyhow.
Oh, you would bring Celeste.
I'm not going alone to a concert.
Fair enough. How is she doing anyway?
Quite well. I think she enjoyed the vacation as well.
So, will we be seeing more of her?
I think so. I hope so.
Okay, because she's kind of cool. A little bit. I mean, not your usual art student.
No. A bit nerdy, but
A bit.
in a good way.
The last time she was here, I caught a peek at the stuff she has in her handbag. She had 2 mangas.
Yeah, or she's working in a manga store. The
Yeah,
student needs to earn money. I'm
you work in
selling
an
weird...
in
I
an
was like-
antiquities store. You don't carry antiquities around with you.
No, because I can't. But if you work like in a bookstore, just call it a bookstore to be neutral. Believe me, I would carry around a lot of books because I would get a lot of ideas what I need to read. You would do the same if you would sell music.
That's a good point.
And she's just using what she has at hand because she sees what comes in, she sees what is sold, she will talk to people there. No, she is talking to people there, I know that.
He gives you a kiss on your forehead. He says, "You're not as stupid as you look." And he walks out.
Thank you, little one. Well, he's younger, so he's
he is younger. One. That is true. He is younger. And basically, then you can hear him walking up the stairs. You hear at least one cat following him, and then you hear the sound of water, and he's having a shower. And then at some point, Isabel comes in, and she says, "There you are!" And she gives you a kiss, or 2 kisses actually, as it should be. And she says, "So how are you?" And you look, you got a little bit of sunburn there. And have you had food? I'll just make dinner. What would you like?
Whatever you planned.
Yeah, I was going to make chowder.
Yeah, perfect. Everything you do is good, you know that.
Okay, and with would you mind running down to the boulangerie and just get some baguette?
Oh, I will do that. Also,
she gives you a couple of euros.
Also in the fridge, there's a little bit from where we went on vacation, because I'm quite sure Amelie would have, at least on the way out, she would have done some shopping, like wine from the region, maybe 2 bottles, and maybe some like I don't know, sausage or whatever. Whatever they have
the
around
wine
there.
Tonight, because you brought white and red, so white will go with the chowder, and and then we can have some cheese afterwards. Super. And she
sounds lovely. And I'll do the shopping. Also, I think I'm just like, I think what I can imagine Nicola being is a carpenter.
Okay. Yeah. I can totally see that. Yeah, working with his hands, being a tradesman. Yeah, absolutely, I can see that.
And he's not working full time there because he's helping his aunt, basically. So
I can already see him doing the shelves for her shop and repairing stuff around the shop.
I'm quite sure he's also repairing around the house a few things just to save some money here and there.
Okay. So basically then he would also have to have a shower because he would be kind of like full of dust and stuff, so he really needs, especially the hair and stuff. Okay, so basically you go shopping, you buy your things, and you can now give me a perception roll.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. And now you roll well. That is 14.
Okay, so you basically pass by a newsagent's as well, and there is the evening paper. And you hear, and you read that they have discovered in a place called Glozel, they have discovered radon sources in the cave system, and in order to ensure that the radon doesn't radon gas is actually quite deadly. It leads to lung cancer, but it stays low. It doesn't rise. It's heavier than air. And what they're doing is they basically then put down concrete and make a little, kind of like leave a little sump place in there. So that it all collects in there, and then they put out a little pipe that releases it, so that it doesn't go under houses. So basically they have now decided that they need to put concrete into a cave system in Glozel to ensure that the buildings that are going to be built there, because they are going to, they've received planning permission for several cottages to be built there, in order to ensure that no radon will be basically filtering into those houses. They're going to close off the cave system with concrete, and works will be commencing within the week.
Okay. I will write a small line to Celeste. They are really quick. Just that. They are really quick. And in brackets, just see the news.
you get a message back saying, hold on, you do your shopping, and then like 5 minutes, 10 minutes later, you get the message back saying, oh, thanks, I just saw it on the internet. They really are quick. And then she emoji smiley. And then, have a good evening.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
And then I will return with the footage back, and we'll enjoy a relaxing dinner with the family.
You have a super relaxing dinner with the family. The food is excellent. Everybody loves the wine that you brought.
I'll tell them also a bit, most of what was Glozel. So about the chateau, how it was, and that around there were like the old tableaus and the museum. So the only thing I will leave out is
the whole supernatural part.
The whole spirit, that meeting a ghost and the cave thingy. But everything else she will just tell them and share with them.
Okay. So basically then after, and of course they want to know. So they're basically also asking questions and they're really, I mean, are you giving the impression that you enjoyed yourself?
Yes. I will also show them a few pictures that I took, not from the cave, but like from the chateau and from where we climbed up to the ruin and had a nice view down. From there and showed them a few pictures basically that they have an idea how it's there.
Obviously the fact that you enjoyed yourself means that they are enjoying your telling the story, and they are happy for you because you worked really hard, you had a very long term, you sat your exams, you're also working, so time off is something that is needed, and they're very happy that you could do it and that apparently you enjoyed yourself and that you also had somebody to share it with. And then I don't know, at some point the evening winds down and everybody goes to bed, and so you go to sleep.
Yes.
Next morning you get up, have your breakfast, go into town to meet Celeste in the cafe, and the two of you start working on your report, which you duly finish, and then you go to the library to meet Eric.
Yes.
Eric, maybe he lives in the library, who knows, because at any hour he's there.
It looks like Micheline is living there.
Yeah, Micheline definitely lives there. And he basically receives your report and he says, well, I will read it later. Thank you very much. In the meantime, how did it go without your report? What was your impression? And he looks at the two of you.
Amelie will look at Celeste.
Well, it's just another piece in the puzzle for me. And she smiles at you. What about you?
I'm still alive. Grinning.
Yes, I can see that. You're a hard nut to crack. Maybe this will be of interest to you. And he hands each of you a brown manila envelope. Take it with you. Read it. It's your new assignment. You're dismissed. Celeste gets up, takes the envelope, and she looks at you.
She will slowly follow, and will probably mutter to herself, okay, if this is like getting a job, then they need to give us proper payment.
She smiles. She gives you a crooked smile and she says, so they've caught you, haven't they?
Well, it seems like they decided that I'm just part of the work team now.
Open the envelope.
Let's do it in peace and quiet somewhere where I can have a glass of wine.
Good.
To hold on to.
How about the Restaurant Balzac?
That sounds perfect.
You go to the Restaurant Balzac. You've been there before. It's a quiet family business, which basically caters to families. So it's the price range is kind of low. So, but it's really good French food. And you find a little nice corner where there is nobody there. It's kind of a little bit dark. There are little candles, kind of like in those glass holders. And do you open the envelope?
Yes.
Okay.
After the wine arrived, and I took a sip of it.
White or red?
Red.
Okay. You basically open the envelope, and you see that there is one A4 sheet. And one photo.
Okay. I will look at the photo first.
And no, let me finish. Okay. So basically, the photo is tacked to the sheet of paper using a clip, and so that's like 2 layers, and the top layer is basically a check. It's a check for 3,000 euros.
She will put that on probably back in the envelope. I hope you got the same, or even more.
I don't know what you got. I got 3,000 euros.
Me too.
There you are. You wanted to know if they were paying us. I think that's the answer.
Are paying us, although I'm not sure. There might be questions why I get this amount of money on my bank account.
If you look at the check more closely, it says scholarship.
They want to skip the taxes. So.
Well, they want you to skip the taxes. They don't pay. They're the government.
But well, let's see. I will peek at the picture. She's just curious.
It is a picture of a couple of houses, modern detached houses, like for one family each, with a little front garden. You can see that there are 3 or 4, and you can also tell that there are more behind. There is a fence, like one of those fences that are made to look old, like black metal. It looks like a gated community to you that you know from the United States. And and it looks like this was made for kind of like a brochure for kind of like maybe a real estate agent trying to sell or trying to rent out properties. You know what I mean? And it says, The Serene Retreat, in really nice lettering. And the piece of paper, the A4 sheet, is typed, and it says Serene Retreat, 13 houses, 3 bedrooms, gated community, close to all amenities, kindergartens and schools. Closed for the last 10 years. About to be opened. We want to know what happened. And then then there's kind of like a handwritten note, and it's written by Eric, and he signed it, and he says this will be your new assignment. Cover story. You are 2 film journalists who are going to make a documentary about this place and about how it's being reopened. And you will be meeting your contact, Lydia Bonneau, or Lydia Bonneau, who is the... she's the real estate agent who's trying to market this piece of real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And she is going to commission you to make a... It's like an infomercial, if you know what I mean. And it's going to be your job to find out what's the story with the Serene Retreat.
Do we have an address that
Yes,
we
you do.
roughly know where it is?
Yeah, it is outside of Paris. You know the name. It's I mean, France is super centralized, so everything happens in Paris. But really wealthy people live either in the center of Paris or they live outside in those kind of like smaller villages that are not in the commuter belt but beyond that.
Yeah.
And this would be one of those villages that you've heard of. You haven't been there yet, so it's new to you, but you have heard of it. There is no metro there. Everybody who lives there has a car, or probably 5. So, you have to have a car to get there.
It's definitely within a day trip, basically.
Paris. Much less so. You can go to the very city center of Paris, probably about 2 hours by car because of the traffic, but, but the people who live there might either send their children to boarding school anyway or would use one of the schools in the area because that's like private schools. They're outside of Paris. They are really expensive. That's where these people would go. And then there's kind of like a PS. You have to do your own research because I know you love it, and a little smiley.
He could have done the work for us. Why didn't he?
She taps her brown envelope light and says, well, we have to earn the 3,000, don't we?
Honestly, we would research anyhow whatever he writes in there because we wanted to know by ourselves what we can find, don't we?
Okay. And then basically the waiter comes with a menu and he invites you to, and he tells you what today's specials are. There's a list of specials. It's all kind of like family cooking. And Celeste makes her choices. Do you want to eat something or do you just go? No.
No, I would eat something as well.
Now Celeste also will have some wine with the food. And then basically the food comes and you enjoy the evening. And then she says, all right, so we'll do some research and then we should reconvene next week and see what the Serene Retreat and its story is.
That makes sense. One last thing, I have nothing to do with work. She will look at the envelope. I was thinking about if I would like to see Ash on stage. Have you ever seen her on stage?
No, I always manage to avoid this because everyone's always looking at me.
Why? You're at a concert. They will look at Ash.
I don't know, I just don't feel comfortable. Why? Are you planning on going?
I was curious to go, but I don't want to go alone, so...
Well, I mean, if you're going, I'm going. She always tries to introduce me to everybody. But if you're there, I can say, well, introduce her instead.
Well, the idea is to go to the concert, not the big after party.
I'm in. When?
I would give her the date where she organized tickets for
Nicola.
For Nicola.
Would you like me to get tickets?
I don't know if it would be.
If you want to, we can pay for them.
Yeah, I think yes.
But I'll make sure that we get some because sometimes they're already sold out. But she always has access to tickets. So
that would be lovely.
I'll just
if she
ask
could
her to give
organize
us good tickets and we're going to pay for them.
Yeah, just
Sure.
let me know what it is. And I'm curious. After what we just learned, her music works on evil things.
But I can... Maybe we won't tell her that. But I can tell you one thing for nothing. She will want us there at the after party.
Okay.
Because she likes you. And she likes Nicolas. And he's got an access all areas pass.
Yeah, but I need to stay far away from him. If not, he will murder me.
Why?
He's there with the boys.
Oh.
I'm not the cool category.
I will tell her that. She'll be fine. But she may want you to come to our place one time and maybe have some food.
That would be lovely. If you're fine with it.
Sure. It'll be pasta. She loves pasta. Usually it's pasta with shells, seashells and clams, and she's really good at that.
I eat all kinds of food, so that's not
She
a
makes
worry.
a killer white wine sauce.
Then that might be a very nice option.
Mm-hmm.
Although maybe we can also go to the after party. Just to
Annoy
Nico a
Nicola.
little bit.
I like your way of thinking. She gives you a high five.
I will high five her back. I will give her a kiss left and right. And then take the envelope very carefully, put it in my handbag, and we'll take a stroll back home.
She will also stroll back home, and then basically we will leave it there for tonight, because in a week's time we are going to do the research on the Serene Retreat. So thank you very much for telling this story with me. And yes, we are continuing with the girls for another season. It's going to be a little bit shorter probably, because we don't need the introductions. But we get to level up. Now, we both have to check how this actually works, because I don't know.
We have to read up on it.
We'll have to read up on it, but we will do it for next week. And basically, thank you very much for listening and watching Paris Squared. And thank you very much for telling the story with me. And we will see you guys in a week's time.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.